Right here in Seine Bight, at Finger Foods Delights with none other than the chef.
Chef G.
All right, Chef G, you could tell me a little bit about the Garifuna culture and how people can taste it in your food?
Well, the Garifuna culture, the Garifuna food for the most part, 19 time they come, so everybody look out for the hurut, but they also got the darasa, the tapo, they have the different porridges as well, what people could have. They could get it either at Finger Foods Delights and they have other local establishments where make the food, no?
Right.
Right. The horoto that is known favorite with basically the beef plantain after being boiled along with the coconut milk. It's boiled down with the fish. That's a traditional way. Yeah, and then they have the local spices where they add to it to give it that flavor. That's basically the horoto. But in a modern day, people add all different meats to it, lobster, shrimp, whatever they feel like pigtail.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Let's see a little bit more about yourself. How long you been cooking?
Actually, I would have say about 10 years, but 7 years ago, my brothers and I decided to come together and build Finger Foods, and then I start practice more here at Finger Foods, and then after that I extend my services to yachting and different villas and catering and different private events. All right. I'm not a trained cook. I never went to school to be a cook. Actually, I have a degree in management. That's what I've been doing for years.
Yeah.
But after a while, I discovered that I was never happy. So, and then cooking made me happy. So
Who doesn't love a nice plate of food?
right,
Right. Especially when you make it, just a
Uh-huh.
personal connection and satisfaction.
Right,
So from right here in Seine Bight,
right.
so all your life, right there.
Uh, Practically, yes, most of my life, the Rachel has seen, right? Some of it was in the States. Yeah, yes.
Do you think that's something that most people have like a misconception about the Garifuna people?
Well, for the most part, they have this like the stigma against the Garifuna people, especially here on the peninsula, for example. So they have that level of fear, that the Garifuna are the bad people, and yeah, I could go on with it. But for the most part, people who come to Seine Bight, discover that Seine Bight is not as how it is perceived.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And one of the biggest thing that I have been trying to change about Seine Bight is that the outside community and even some of the resorts, they are afraid of sending their guests to Seine Bight because of so many reasons. And Finger Foods, the whole motto behind Finger Foods is to change that concept that the guests could come to Seine Bight and now come to Finger Foods and enjoy good food,
Yeah.
safe and comfortable environment.
Right.
And we work towards that, my brothers and myself, every day. Every day. Yes. You know.
Yeah, and we were here yesterday and we sat across from Publix and it was interesting watching like everybody walking past and everything happening, and there was a large sense of community that I got as opposed to in some other places they kind of like to like when they see you come in they turn their head and don't acknowledge you, where here it was like everybody's good with each other, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that that's a big core value of basically Garifuna tradition?
Yeah, Garifuna, like I said, Garifuna and mostly about the family. I mean, even our religion is about bringing the family together, you know, regardless of the misconception of how they perceive us on the peninsula.
Right.
We are nothing like what they think of us.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing. And some guests would come and say, man, I'm here and I don't believe that I am not harmed, I'm not being robbed, I'm not, none of that stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, definitely, I feel like the more light that's shined on the situation and the more education provided for people, the more clarity and understanding that they have about it, right?
Yeah.
Which is what you're striving to do,
Right.
and also what I'm striving to do with this here.
Right.
How do you feel that the preservation of the cultures stands today? Like, do you feel like a lot of people are kind of just letting tradition and heritage slide by the wayside, or you feel like there's a certain number of people committed and dedicated that are trying to expand it to the younger generations?
For the most part, we're experiencing a lot of cultural erasure. We have
Mm-hmm.
lost a lot of our culture for a number of reasons. Even though we have grassroots people in our community who is trying to uphold the Garifuna culture and the Garifuna heritage, the Garifuna way of life, and trying to pass it on to the young generation, but it's a very, very hard task, you know, for the grassroots people to pass on this tradition because most of the young people are not receptive to Garifuna the world. They are more receptive to the American style system or even speaking the language. They are more receptive to the Creole language than the Garifuna language. Some are more receptive to the Spanish language and the Garifuna language.
Right.
So there are a number of factors that influence the Garifuna culture in our country and also in our village. So in essence, we are losing it, and I'm talking from the heart. We are losing it.
For sure. And it's always a matter of the grass is always greener on the other side, right? Like, you have the younger generation here losing who they are while being submerged in it, and then the younger generations of Garifuna Estates, they hold on to it as tight as they could,
Right.
finna make it slip because they realize that that is such a significant part of who they are and what makes them unique as individuals when you're all caught up in the rat race and everything, right? So maybe just a way to explain that to them, like, yes, you always want something that you don't have,
Yeah.
but you have to acknowledge and be grateful for what you do and just embrace it and continue to empower it.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the biggest thing I try to do, especially in my cooking, I try to kind of use some of the old Garifuna recipes,
Yeah,
and merge it into present day recipes. And that's the difference in the type of food that you would get at Finger Foods, right? Because I try a lot. For example, most of us grow up drinking fever grass or lemongrass, as you would call it. But there is a lot more that you could do with fever grass than just making it for a tea.
right.
Right, I mean, you could make a sauce out of it.
Ooh,
You know,
that sounds nice.
yeah, you could make a sauce out of it.
But what
You
else?
know,
What other unique culinary dishes or sauces and twists that you combine culture with cuisine?
there got times when grape season there, I use grapes or I use ginger. I use whatever is around me, and as time goes by, different ideas come. And I test it a lot. I have a lot of family members who is always around, so whenever something new is created,
Yeah,
they would know.
in
You
the
know,
restaurant.
yeah,
But
right.
that's good. That's good.
Try keep it as natural as possible, as natural.
Yeah.
Even they have the local basil. A lot of people use to the American basil, but the local basil can be used as a spice as well.
Yeah.
Not only just the hurut, but you could use the local basil for add flavor to rice and beans, for example.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that.
And it's just something so simple, but so easily
Right,
overlooked.
and it grows wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. Try to think. You got me now to think about food. My mind, the way across here, and questions evade me.
Just basically, like I said, I just want to invite everybody, everybody who live on the peninsula, for take a walk through Seine Bight, and if they need to stop, you just stop and find out more about the people, the culture, and what we do here. One of the biggest problem I have right now, for example, is on November 19th morning when we have the reenactment of the arrival of the Garifuna people. There was once upon a time when people from the resorts and Placencia proper would come to Seine Bight and witness the arrival or the reenactment of the Garifuna people to the shores of Belize. And what has happened over the years that has been changing. You know, we get fewer and fewer people, you know, attending the reenactment of the Garifuna people here in Seine Bight. Which I see that as it is very bad for the Garifuna culture here in Seine Bight, you know, and I don't know how to fix it or what has to be done about it.
I haven't been around for a minute, but do you guys have, so you have the boat reenactment and a Belize celebration. You don't have a parade for it?
Yes, they have parade,
Parade,
they have a mass,
mass.
you know, they have all of that. You know, that's something genuine, like, you know, I mean, it's something genuine for the Garifuna people.
Yeah,
You know,
genuine and authentic.
Authentic, yes.
For the community,
For the community.
by the community, for the community,
Yep.
and all for the culture. Wicked. Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.